Our top story tonight, the United Nations Commission on Human Rights in South Sudan has urged the African Union and the UN Security Council to take urgent and coordinated action as South Sudan faces deepening political and humanitarian crises. In a powerful statement from Addis Ababa and Geneva, the UN Commission warned that South Sudan's escalating political turmoil is driving renewed armed violence, worsening human rights abuses, and threatening regional stability. Despite a decade of peace efforts by the African Union and IGAD, the Commission said the country's leaders have deliberately stalled progress, pushing South Sudan to the brink once again. Commissioner Barney Afako led the mission to the AU and said the crisis reflects a failure of leadership and accountability, unless there is immediate and coordinated political engagement by the region. South Sudan risks sliding back into full-scale conflict with unimaginable. The Commission called on the African Union to urgently establish the long-delayed hybrid court for South Sudan, a key justice mechanism outlined in the 2018 Revitalized Peace Agreement. Chairperson Yasmin Suka stressed that justice delayed is justice. The hybrid court must move from paper to concrete action. The African Union has the moral responsibility to ensure justice and healing. The country cannot rebuild. For the South Sudanese people, the human toll continues to rise. In 2025 alone, more than 300,000 South Sudanese fled the country, joining over 2.5 million refugees across neighboring nations. Inside South Sudan, at least 2 million people remain internally displaced, with women and children most affected. Commissioner Carlos Castarazana Fernandez warned that without stability and justice, Machar's lead defense lawyer, Dr. Jerry Ramindo Leg, told the court that its legal mandate expired last week, making the ongoing proceedings unlawful. He argued that the special court's one-month authority from September 8th to October 8th had lapsed. The presiding judge adjourned the session to Wednesday, saying the court would seek a mandate extension. Leg also cited Article 103 of the Transitional Constitution, which grants Medsar immunity from prosecution while serving as first vice president. The trial, which began September 22nd, involves 8 accused, including senior SPLM-IO officials, facing charges of treason, mass murder, and terrorism related to attacks in Nasir County earlier this year. The UN Commission has urged both the African Union and the UN Security Council to act decisively, placing justice and accountability at the heart of efforts to restore peace in South Sudan. Only a credible political transition, the Commission says, can prevent further violence and rebuild the nation on the foundation of rule of law. Welcome to North Global News, your trusted source for stories that matter. We bring you the latest updates from South Sudan, Africa, and beyond. Main headline: a new United Nations report has named 3 senior South Sudanese officials. Vice President Dr. Benjamin Ball Mel, Minister of Defense Shul Thon, and Chief of Defense Forces Dr. Paul Nang. SSPDF orders nationwide disarmament. The newly appointed Commissioner of ABABA. And finally, the newly appointed Minister of Wildlife Conservation and Tourism. The South Sudan People's Defense Forces and elements of Uganda's UPDF, which reportedly caused civilian deaths, displacement, and widespread destruction. The UN also confirms that Vice President Dr. Benjamin Ball Mel is already under sanctions from the UN, the United States, and the European Union, and that the other 2 officials may soon face similar measures pending further investigation. Meanwhile, the Chief of Staff, SSPDF, orders nationwide disarmament of the South Sudan People's Defense Forces has issued a new set of orders targeting armed groups and militias.
The Chief of Defense Forces, Senior General Dr. Paul Nang issues the following orders here under. Order number 1, members of the Red Band Movement are hereby ordered to join SSPDF with their personnel and support weapons. A committee will be formed and sent to Malal Chad Barracks to receive members of the Red Bell Movement joining the army. Members declining this golden opportunity and honor to serve will face forceful disarmament at the earliest time possible. Order number 2, armed youth in Greater Warab are hereby ordered to voluntarily hand over the weapons to SSPDF within 21 days. Failure to comply with above orders will result in the launching of a comprehensive forceful disarmament exercise. Order number 3. Members of SPLIO are ordered to report to the nearest SSPDF barracks in preparation for the commencement of second phase of the implementation.
The directive demands that members of the Red Belt militia immediately join the SSPDF or face force disarmament. It also calls on armed youths in Warab state to hand over their guns within 21 days and instructs SPLMIO soldiers to report to the nearest SSPDF barrack, warning that failure to comply will result in being treated as hostile forces. Borough militia rejects disarmament. In Borough, the commander of the Red Belt militia, but the new orders have sparked resistance. Leek Mammer has rejected the government's disarmament plan. He says his forces will not surrender their weapons unless all other armed groups, including the Merle, White Army, and Jeluyung, are disarmed at the same time. His position has received support from Senior Presidential Advisor Jen Kwal Munya and Information Minister Michael Makui-Luth, both prominent figures from the borough community. The newly appointed Commissioner of Akabo County, Honorable James Kuth Makuich, has broken his silence, condemning the government for allegedly violating the 2018 peace agreement. Makuich accused the government of hijacking the peace process and arresting peace partners. He called for fair trials for Dr. Riek Machar and his co-accused and demanded a full return to the implementation of the 2018 deal. And finally, the newly appointed Minister of Wildlife, Conservation and Tourism, Dene Jock, has officially returned to the country. Dene, who previously served as governor of Jonglei State, arrived in Juba on October 10th to a warm welcome from hundreds of supporters and community members.
Welcome to the heart of Africa, where culture meets creativity. Join us on North Global News, your ultimate channel for inspiring news and stories across the continent. From the deep traditions of South Sudan and Ethiopia, to the rhythm of African music, the power of sports, the rise of technology, and the beauty of our wildlife and nature, this is Africa Reimagined. Share our stories. Keep Africa united through culture, knowledge and pride. Uniting Africa through stories and culture. Subscribe now to North Global News. Share Africa's culture with the world.